Hello everybody, I am Nikhil Verma and today we are going to discuss super profits method under the module valuation of goodwill. So until here we have understood average profits, under that simple average, weighted average and capitalization of average profits as well. Super profits is the most important aspect of valuation of goodwill because the questions are usually asked on super profits method in the final examination. Before we understand how to evaluate goodwill using super profits method, let us understand what is the meaning of super profits. Super profits means the profits earned by the company over and above the normal profits. That means it is the difference between average profits and normal profits. We have already studied how to calculate average profits. You might either have to use simple average or weighted average to calculate average profits. Normal profits, on the other hand, is the profits that is normally earned by companies. So below I have given you two formulas. Super profits is equals to average profits minus normal profits. Now in order to calculate normal profits, we have one more formula. That formula is average capital employed into NRR divided by 100. Alright, now understand that we are struggling to find out super profits first, and once we find out super profits, we are going to then focus on how do we calculate goodwill. Okay, so for normal profits, I told you guys average capital employed into NRR divided by 100. This is going to be the formula. Now if you observe closely, under super profits, we are supposed to find out average profits and normal profits. We already know how to calculate average profit, so our focus area will be normal profit. For normal profit, we have understood the formula. NRR will already be given in the problem. NRR is normal rate of return. It will be predefined in the problem. We just have to calculate average capital employed. So how do we calculate average capital employed? We will see it in the next slide. So under average capital employed, there are two techniques. There is an asset side approach and there is a liabilities side approach. We can calculate average capital employed using any of these two approaches. Now we will first look at asset side approach. See this, guys. Under asset side approach, how do we calculate average capital employed is, we will first draw this table, take all the assets at market value. There is a star mark. I'll tell you which are the assets that you're not supposed to take later. So you write them individually, do the total. That will be the market value of assets minus outside liabilities. I've again given you the star mark to let you know how to identify outside liabilities. We will take individual outside liabilities, do the total. We will do total of A minus total of B. Whatever answer we get, we are going to keep it as it is. And then we are again going to do, we are going to reduce half of current year's profit. So they will give you current year's profit in the problem. We are going to take that profit and take half of it and reduce it from the balance that we got from total assets minus outside liabilities. Whatever answer we get is average capital employed. Now what are the important points to remember in regards to assets? Goodwill, preliminary expenses or any other losses should not be included in the value of assets. So we are not going to take them under assets. Okay, what are we not going to take? Goodwill and other fictitious assets. Just remember that. Okay, goodwill will not be taken because we are going to calculate goodwill, so there is no point in considering goodwill here, and we are not going to even consider any other fictitious assets. There is one more point, guys. Non-trading investments such as government securities also should not be included in the assets. So you just have to by heart one thing, that non-trading investments and goodwill and fictitious assets need not be included in valuation of, in considering the total value of assets. Anything apart from shareholders fund. Now this is about outside liabilities. What does it say? Anything apart from shareholders fund to be considered as outside liabilities. So we are going to leave shareholders fund, and apart from shareholders fund, we are going to take everything else as outside liabilities. What forms the part of shareholders funds, guys? Equity shares, preference shares, reserves and surplus, P&L account, profit, that is. So we are not going to consider those aspects, that is equity shares, preference shares, reserves and surplus, or P&L account surplus. We are not going to consider them. Everything else we are going to consider as outside liabilities. there's one more key point here, that is, if market value of any asset is not given, then book value should be considered. Apart from these assets, okay, that are mentioned in point number 1 and point number 4, apart from those, if market value of any other asset is not given, then we are going to take book values. Priority will be given to market values. Okay. Now, liability side approach. Whatever you are excluding, sorry, whatever you are excluding in the asset side approach will be included in the liability side approach. So, what all will be included? Shareholders fund will be included. That is, equity shareholders, preference shareholders, reserves and surplus, and P&L account surplus will be considered. Apart from that, when you take market values, if there is a profit, we are going to add it along with the shareholders fund, and if there is a loss, we are going to reduce it. Then apart from that, what are we going to reduce from these values? We are going to reduce goodwill, P&L account loss, preliminary expenses, and any other losses. See, I have given here loss on revaluation of assets. I should have given any other losses, but these are the things that will exist in almost each and every problem. These will be appearing commonly. Apart from that, if there is any other losses, we are going to reduce it from the shareholders funds total that we have got. Total A minus total B will get one amount. From that, we are going to reduce half of current year's profit. So this part is common in both the approaches. We are going to take current year's profit and take half of its value and reduce it from the answer that we get from subtracting total B from total A. Okay, this is how we arrive at average capital employed. You can get comfortable with any one approach and use only one approach to get perfect with it. You know, because you will be using only one approach in final exams. When they give you a balance sheet, you can decide whether you are comfortable with asset side approach or liability side approach. Practice that approach continuously. So guys, once you find out average capital employed, I'll go back to that slide. When you find out average capital employed, you can calculate normal profit. See this. When you find out average capital employed, you will multiply it with NRR divided by 100. You will get normal profits. So we will write normal profit in the formula of super profits. Average profits, we already know how to calculate average profits. They will give us profits of past years. Add them, subtract them by number of years. You get average profits. Subtract average profits from normal profit, we get super profit. Now that we arrive at super profit, using that super profit, we are supposed to calculate goodwill. In order to do that, there are 4 techniques. Okay. First is purchase of super profits method. Second is sliding scale valuation of super profits method. Third is annuity method of valuation of super profits method. And last is capitalization of super profits method. Out of these 4 methods, guys, the first and the last method are very much important because these are the methods that are frequently asked in exams. The other 2 you're supposed to study, but they're not frequently asked. Okay. So let us understand how do you calculate goodwill using each of those methods. First is purchase of super profits method. This is exactly how you calculated goodwill under average profits as well. What you did under average profit, you took average profit and multiplied it by number of years purchased. Same thing you are going to do here. Value of goodwill is equals to super profits multiplied by number of years purchased. Plain and simple. All right, we'll move on to the next point. Sliding scale valuation of super profits. Now this is a little bit tricky. This is also based on number of years purchased, but you will use a sliding scale. Now assume that goodwill is 3 years purchase of super profits. So what are you going to do? We have already found out super profit. We will take that super profit. We'll draw this chart and we'll say if goodwill is 3 years purchase, we will have 3 divisions. See the column A. I have done first year, second year and third year because goodwill is 3 years purchase. And what I'll do is I will add the super profit amount on all 3 columns. And then I'll multiply it with the scale. And a scale will be usually in diminishing order. Okay. Based on number, see I've given here in the bracket based on number of years purchased. Now assume that goodwill is 3 years purchase. So the scale will be 3, 2, 1 in diminishing order. Now we will find out the total amount of goodwill by multiplying column B with column C and then doing the sum of all the years. We get value of goodwill. I'm sorry. Just focus on, just try to understand the concepts now, guys. When we solve the problem, you are going to understand it even more easier. The third technique that we have is annuity method of valuation of super profits. Here you don't have to do a lot. because the annuity value will already be given, you just have to multiply the annuity value with super profits. They will give you in the problem that goodwill is based on the annuity value of so and so of super profits. So you'll take super profit, multiply it with the annuity value given in the problem. I will also teach you all how to find out annuity value if the time permits. Okay. So even another simple method, you just find out the value of goodwill by multiplying super profits with the annuity value, plain and simple. And the last type is capitalization of super profit. This is also similar to how you capitalized your average profits. You will do the same thing here. The only thing is you will be taking super profits instead of average profits. So value of goodwill is equals to super profit into 100 divided by normal rate of return. All right. With this, you are capitalizing your super profits, and that will become the value of goodwill. So finding out value of goodwill using super profits is easy, but calculation of super profit in itself is difficult. I hope you guys have understood the theory aspect. With the next class, we are going to solve problems based on super profits. Thank you guys.